Is there a motion, we approve the minutes?
Second.
Have motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, minutes approved. Mr. Pons. You're up, sir.
All right. We do have those 3 street renamings coming up for the final public hearing tonight. So just be aware of that. That's coming up, and then y'all can actually vote on it. But the items that I have for you, we have a rezoning for public hearing. So this is Beacon Place. I know y'all are familiar with this. The apartment complex on Beacon Place Parkway, Hargrove Road area. 47.57 acres. Currently not in city limits. They are requesting to annex into the city. When they come into the city, they come in as R1, so they are requesting to rezone to R4 as well. So here's that location, the area as it sits today, and then the zoning around it. And this is kind of what it looks like just from the entrance area. So again, they're just requesting to rezone to R4 when they come into the city to allow for, and they're coming into the city to allow for connection to city services. It does conform to framework, and this is the future land use character map that y'all can see there.
They've been good citizens. I'm all about this. We will actually make some money off this in the long run. So it's always a good thing.
And then this is just that introduction for the annexation. So same property, but you guys can vote to adopt this as well after introduction tonight. So it'd be the rezoning and the annexation. And that's all.
Zach?
Yes,
can I ask
sir.
you a question? Can we back up?
Yep.
Street renaming?
Street renaming, yeah.
When we've gone through this process, I know that in our meetings, there's really not been any public comments, but have there been any written comments? Has there been any objections or anything that we haven't seen other than I know there's an email again out there today? Has anybody said anything? I'm just curious if there's any objection.
I only received one call from a local business owner concerning 6th Street.
Yeah, we've had some discussions with some people, but we've directed them to the city clerk's office for comment. But Brandy, do you have any? So she doesn't have any update on that.
So Norman, I've received 2. I was on the group email from R&R, and then a resident of my district, ironically with the last name Fitz, but not that branch of the family. I thought brought up a pretty good question. Is Sylvan in here? I don't know. So that suggestion was for the renamed street, leave below it in smaller the old numerical designation. I'd like to see how that looks. If it would be Sylvan's department who worked up the mock-up.
Yes, sir.
I'm in favor of the renaming. I very much understand some of the valid business and property owners. This retention of the original numerical name or designation, I think has value worth looking at. Will you coordinate with Sylvan to get us some mock? Mayor, is that doable? I mean, is there any reason we would not be able to leave the numerical designation on there?
When we went through the policy when we were setting it up several years ago, that was one of the ideas that came about. And Zach, you helped me with this. I think the primary concern would be for E911 and our planning is what would be their street address.
Right.
And so with that, it would be 5th Street under the way that it is, the way the ordinance is written now.
That's correct.
And so their address would have, it's still going to be whatever, you know, if it's 2100 6th Street, it would change to
2100 Gary Fitz Street.
We're going to say Fitz
Street.
And we're taking last names and just making like Allman Avenue. We're going to make Maxie Thomas Street because we have a Frank Thomas. So we're recommending leaving that as keeping that as Maxie Thomas. But we don't have another Fitz, so we can go Fifth Street, and we don't have another Almond, so we can do Almond Avenue.
I do think it would be constructive to see what that looked like.
Yeah, and we can put that on the sign so that people who are looking, that they'll have, oh, this is where Sixth Street
Was.
We can certainly do that.
And maybe that would moderate some of the business disruption for stationary advertising, things
I
like
think
that.
it's just the business expense is what I've heard from several people, just having to change all that.
So like having the name with the street,
Yeah,
the
so the-
street, like the numerical street and a
Name or number
parentheses.
will be
The
there.
street sign would have the new
Yeah.
name more prominent, but underneath in smaller lettering, Sixth Street. Or
I
And
was
that'll
trying
be
to-
the
I was trying
official
to-
address?
Well, like the mayor said, the official address is gonna be, if it were 408 Sixth Street, it's gonna be 408
It's
Fifth
gonna be
Street.
confusing.
Yeah, just update your system.
Yeah, but I think if you're talking about
So
checks.
Zach, will you
checks,
coordinate having a
stationery,
lockup
people say
made?
checks,
Yeah, I'll talk with
stationery,
Selvin and see if he can get that for you.
Yeah.
Like
All right.
retail. That's where I got more. So,
We're part investor in that hotel.
$4 million?
yeah.
Ashley, did you want to say something?
No, I was just making sure we were good on the fact that all of these streets will be officially, like E911 will recognize 2100 Almond Avenue as the official address. So.
I think that's,
The stationary piece and whatnot is definitely there, and that business can choose to maintain their original address and hope for the best, I suppose, but that's not a preferred solution.
Now, the rule of thumb, and actually correct me if I'm wrong, is postal service usually gives about a year of transition in any sort of official naming address, so,
I was gonna ask that.
that's usually the rule of thumb. So as your old stationery runs out, and the thing that makes it a little easier today is most people are heavier in digital presence than they are in paper presence, and so
It's true too.
I guess within our system, we update Google Maps, Bing, and all the map services as well.
we do that? That comes out of us?
So what, so did we table that public hearing, or like, is the public hearing still on
We just
schedule?
have one more, yes, ma'am.
Okay, the public hearing
It's
is
the
still
last year
set.
too.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
All
Good
right.
questions.
Mayor Maddox?
At this point, probably the major comment is one that we've been talking about the last 2 weeks, is the software upgrade. So on the 5th and 6th, our water, sewer, business office, building permit, and revenue offices will be closed and not accepting payments. Although we anticipate a smooth transition, we've left ourselves the grace of the weekend in case there are any issues. We fully expect to be up and running on Monday, October 7th. If for some reason there are issues, we don't anticipate, but I've learned in 18 years of this job, there's always surprises. We should be able to notify pretty quickly and adjust pretty quickly, and we will certainly update you and the public if there are going to be any major changes.
Okay. Is that all you have today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want to thank Kimberly, Michael for coming on my show today, because after the letter that went out to some residents, she did an excellent job in explaining it and just overall how our operations with the city works. She did a wonderful job, and I hope anyone who have a chance can go, you could.
Is that archived somewhere?
yeah,
'Cause
it's-
I wanna refer somebody to it.
Yeah, please, because the Highlands neighborhood actually posted on their neighborhood page to watch the show today for those who had questions, about it. But
Where is it archived?
it's on the Kip Tyner Facebook,
Kip Tanner Facebook.
and it's shared. It's sharing. It's running now, over and over and over,
And
Kimberly.
Mr. Tyner, what does get lost is 99.9% of the 32 billion gallons of sewage that was treated in that time period that entered our system was treated, went through the system. 99.9%. I think that's better than what even Lysol does.
Yeah.
99.9%. And the issues that are reported, the majority of them come from historic flooding events. And the data that's being used is the data that we provided on our website.
So it's nothing they found themselves.
No. And I think that if I were in the public, I'd be asking the question of why are others not reporting?
Well, I think if you watch the interview back, you'll see that
I'm trying to be very careful about it, but I take great pride in Kimberly and her
Me too.
team. And they've been working on this problem for several years. And, you know, we're investing, as this council is investing on behalf of the system, $300 million into our system. A process, by the way, that didn't start with this complaint. It started several years ago.
yeah. And I think one of the great things that came out of
Good story.
those are kind of two separate things. The one that came out of the letter was the fact that people were very impressed that we had 12 filters, you know, that you'd go through, and something that I didn't know, and I've been to the tours, and which was great. But if you'll watch today too, I really took AL.com to task on my show, and I let them have it because that was the most irresponsible story that I've seen. And I pay for my airtime. I can say whatever I want to. And I let them have it because their headlines tried to make a race issue out of it. That these spills were affecting minorities. And you know, instead of saying City of Tuscaloosa self-reports, that was never in the article.
Not only do we go the extra step, not only do we report everything to ADM, we actually go out beyond the law. We do personal notifications. We put it on our website. There's not one piece of information, to my knowledge, in the complaint that wasn't taken off our own website of what we reported. Now you got, again, 99.9% success rate. 99.9% success rate. By the way, well, I'll just leave it at that because I don't want to get in trouble with our city attorney's office. There is so much more that through the appropriate, you know, venue, which is the legal system, we'll have our opportunity. But in the meantime, I'm proud that we're a city that we care about. If your children are swimming in a tributary or in a river or in a creek, you know why we go the extra mile? Because that could be our child. And unlike most communities in our state and most authorities in our state who don't, we take the step and do. So I'm proud of our city for being upfront, honest, and transparent, and holding ourselves accountable. We welcome all this, you know, I won't say anything else, but we've been working on this for several years. Passed a $300 million investment plan to tackle it. And some of the voices that I read in some of these articles, I don't remember them coming before the city council and supporting it. But maybe I don't remember correctly, but I just don't remember they were there.
You remember correctly, they were not. And I told that on my interview today, I told Kimberly, I said, to protect Kimberly, I said, this is my personal opinion. And city attorneys, if you are watching at home, don't worry, I'm not gonna say anything that's gonna get anybody in trouble. But it just angers me that journalism, which I'm a journalist by trade, it angers me that it's just gotten to this point where it's pitiful. I mean, you know, it's no such thing as facts, and it's no such thing as both sides or three sides to a story. And I'm just ashamed of journalism for the most part. You've got some that really do a good job, but there was another media outlet besides AL.com that did a hack job as well.
No one's going, I don't anticipate you're gonna see anyone go the extra step to go ask the questions of where is your SSOs? Where are your reports? What were your discharges during these historic flood events? They won't do that.
No, they
Yeah,
won't.
that's not good TV.
But we do.
No, it's right.
And in the end, I'd like to think in the end, the city, in the end, I know we've done the right thing, which is the most important thing. But hopefully in the end, the people that work so hard every day in Ms. Michael's department will be validated as well, because there's been a lot of work the last 4 to 5 years, and their successes are being overshadowed by those that are seeking attention. And I am very proud that the city's been working with ADM long before this complaint was issued. And like I mentioned earlier, $300 million investment, and we have a 99.9% success rate that we self-report on. We should be very, very proud of that, and it doesn't mean we don't work to get better. We strive to get better, but I imagine those will never make the public domain, because that's,
No,
it's not web click worthy.
nope,
Sorry,
no, not at all.
I'll have to go to the principal's office when I leave here, the city attorney's office.
You know, just try to be factual to the media. It just drives me nuts that when people are not factual and they're just strictly
Well, we
putting
shouldn't
something.
let facts get in the way of
Well,
this.
they use the headline to just make people angry.
Yeah.
And afraid.
That's just wrong. And afraid.
And afraid.
You're right. And afraid. So anyway, I felt better today after I got to see my piece because I had been holding it up all weekend.
Well, it's like you talk about. Let's think about the last 2 months. Hop Stroke in your district. SI Resort in your district. The continued growth and expansion of the university and Mercedes and our city population as a whole. Does that truly happen in communities that doesn't have strong infrastructure? Of course not, because we have strong infrastructure. And that's, if you don't take our word for it, look at the people who are investing hundreds of millions of dollars. They don't do that haphazardly. They do that because there's a reason.
Exactly.
And that's because this city is in outstanding shape. And again, I put 99.9% against anyone, and I'm proud of our team.
Exactly. Let's go. Let's go to war. Let's go
I'm
fight.
fired up.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go battle. All right. But you'll go back and watch the interview. It's really, she did a great job. All right. Mr. Bobbitt. Yes, sir. You look like me trying to get up.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
Mr. Holmes is out of town today, so I'll be filling in for him. We'll be picking up on things that after Mr. Pons has talked about. We'll be picking up on page 2, item 8, resolutions and ordinances not of a general nature of permanent operation. Page 14, you'll be authorizing a memorandum of understanding between the Tuscaloosa Police and the Department of Homeland Security. You heard about that at Public Safety last week. Page 15, authorizing a minor public works contract with Overhead Door of Tuscaloosa. On page 16, authorizing a minor public works contract with Paints on Us Plus, excuse me. Then on page 17, authorizing professional services contract with NBA Engineers, Inc. for consulting services for the Tuscaloosa AMP screen framing. Tongue-tied today, and I don't know why, I apologize. I heard about all those at projects last week. On page 18, authorizing the mayor to execute a joint funding agreement with the U.S. Geological Survey Water Resources Division. You'll be hearing about that on projects today. That's at Cribbs Mill Creek, an extreme gauging station. Page 19, you'll be authorizing a joint funding agreement with the U.S. Geological Survey for a stream gauging station on North River. That likewise will be heard at projects today. On page 20, you'll be authorizing a professional services contract with Thornton, Lusso, and Bellarmine. Heard about that at projects last week. On ordinances and resolutions of a general nature of permanent operation, on page 24, you'll be reappointing Craig Fairburn to the Tuscaloosa County Park and Recreation Authority. I do not know of any suspended rules, but I do believe we have at least 2 matters for executive session later. Is that correct? So, any questions for me?
Tom, did you say the item on page 20, that wasn't projects?
On which one?
Page 20,
That was in,
what?
executive session.
That was an executive session.
Executive session.
That's what I remember.
Okay. Any questions for Tom? All right, busy day, projects, finance, admin, properties. And then, council meeting, of course, at 6. Thursday, TPD Strategic Review Task Force. If you're not sure if you're on that task force, you need to ask. I think Raven, you and
Myself, Councilor Field,
Fail.
Councilor Busby, the mayor, yep, and I'll be chairing, so. Anyone that has any concerns about our agendas, you can email me or talk to me.
Thank you.
Okie dokie, and that will be at 4:00 in this Doherty room. Anyone have anything they'd like to bring for the pre-council?
I do. Really briefly, I just wanted to let everybody know that it's customer service week this week.
Can you come,
So, oh, sure.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Customer Service Week?
Yes, it's customer service week this week, and I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge all of our city employees that are the front line of communication for our constituents every day. 311, the water department, court, and I'm sure a lot of other departments that I'm just not remembering right now, but I think that it is a daunting job, and just in case some of you have forgotten, my background is in police dispatching. So I know what it's like to be at that desk, getting call after call, getting yelled at all day, and it's not easy. So just if you have a moment today, please reach out to someone in those departments, email, stick your head in, call, and just let them know that we appreciate them. So
Thank you for letting me
Thank
know
you.
that. Internet. I go down and say hello. I think, Mr. Mayor, didn't you also do something? to,
Yesterday, I think, was National Custodial
Yeah.
Appreciation Day.
Yeah.
And we have a fantastic team, doing a great job. You can tell with their non-facilities. So,
Yeah, Eric was
Eric-
telling me that he was all from him, but I think these folks work hard.
They work hard.
Eric brought in lunch.
Good.
Hey, I gotta tell y'all something funny. Now, I didn't see the picture. Somebody sent me a picture this morning and said they weren't happy with the kind of pizza that was served. And I'm going like, what are you talking
Well,
about?
in Eric's
I did
defense,
not
he
know.
hadn't gotten his first paycheck as department head. Once that happens, it's gonna be sushi and lobster and steak.
But I just thought that was funny because I didn't know what the heck they were talking about. I said, what are you talking about? Then there was a picture sent to me and I said, oh,
Hey,
okay.
that'll be the next news story.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm saying. Custodial employees upset over pizza.
The box is pretty, look like your phone.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
All right.
Today's just easy.
Yeah, man.
Is there a motion that we go into executive
Yes, one
session?
motion.
Please.
Second.
All right, Mr. Bobbitt.
Thank you, sir. Deputy City Attorney, the City of Tuscaloosa, and Attorney in the State of Alabama. Following items to be discussed in executive session qualify as.
I'm feeling good
exceptions
today.
of the Alabama
Tom, we-
Meeting Act. First being legal ramifications of and legal options for pending litigation, controversies not yet litigated but imminently likely to be litigated if the governmental body pursues a proposed course of action. And to discuss the consideration the governmental body is willing to offer or accept when considering purchase, sale, exchange, lease, or marketplace value of real property.
Okay, I have no idea what you just said, but I guess there's a motion second executive session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.